Oh, internet. Hey, how's it going? This week, Amazon's cutting back on book discounts, seeing as they've already killed off most of their competition. Porn is not protected by copyright in Germany. France shuts down its three strikes rules, and Microsoft finally gets around to shutting down a 90s-era program that allowed people without computers to connect to the internet using a TV. And no, I'm not talking about the Xbox. My name's Justin Pott. I'm representing the flyover states today, and you're listening to episode 71 of Technophilia. Keep doing that. Representing the West Coast this week is longtime technophiliac and current make use of staff writer, your guest, Canon Yamada. How's it going, Canon?
It's going good. Thank you for asking.
You're based in California, am I right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm in Sacramento, California. It's the capital
Okay.
of California, and it's considered the armpit of California.
The armpit. California has an armpit. I wasn't aware. Is it?
Yeah,
does it smell bad, or is it just located right at the crux of everything?
Do you like the smell of cow patties?
I love it personally. I grew up with it. It's comforting to me.
Then you would like it quite a bit.
Okay. Fantastic. Representing the East Coast this week is game collector extraordinaire and commenter under repair, Dave LeClaire. How's it going, Dave?
It's going good, but I was reading this in the thing. And I don't understand what commenter under repair means.
I don't know either. Sometimes I just write crap. I don't even know. I mean, you comment on shit, but you're not very good at it. So we're trying to fix you.
I figured it probably just rhymed, but you didn't actually have like a logical reason.
I've made up so many rhymes for you at this point, and I'm just out. I'm dead. I'm sorry.
It was better than Dave the Dick.
Dave the that doesn't rhyme at all.
Rhyme at all. See, that's why we
Terrible.
write
That was the
this.
alternative,
yeah.
Dave. What? Shut up.
Also with me today from the UK, representing every foreigner on the planet, it's James freaking Bruce. James, how are you?
I'm pretty good considering I electrocuted myself earlier with 240 volts while I was trying to fix the shower. I mean, who the Bing puts the shower on the same circuit as the goddamn freezer, I ask you?
What?
English people.
You electrocuted yourself in the shower?
Yeah, because I have an electric shower and I had to take the thing off, and I thought it was off because I turned everything in the house off except for the freezer, and I'm like, there's no way the shower is on the same circuit as the freezer. And then I touched it, and I'm like, 240 volts. Thanks.
So there's like a cable coming out of your shower? Like I saw those when I visited like the third world. I didn't know they had those. Okay, that's interesting.
Well, no, there's a cable going into the shower because it needs electric.
You don't have like a hot water heater?
No.
How long does it
It's
take
not like
for
that.
your water to get warm with an electric shower?
It's instant.
Oh, so it's actually
Yeah, it like
better.
heats it. It heats it on demand. Yeah, you don't have to wait for the pipes to heat up. This is riveting.
I think
Fascinating
you're missing the
stuff.
point. I nearly died today.
We
Well,
don't
the
care.
problem is the fact that the problem is that you nearly died.
Oh, right.
We're just baffled that this is necessary to have a cable going into your shower. It's like having your toaster in your shower. It just doesn't seem. I'm blaming you for this one, James.
Is it true that you can get electrocuted by lightning if you shower in a lightning storm? My parents used to always tell me not to shower during that because you'll get electrocuted. Is that true? Can anyone confirm this?
No.
Yeah, it could happen. I
It
guess.
How would it happen? I don't understand.
How would it?
Anyway.
It would hit the earth, and then it would have to come back up again and hit you, and that would not be possible unless you were having a shower outdoors with a metal
Anyways,
shower head, and it
we can
hit the
talk-
shower.
We can talk
Well, I don't
showers.
know how
We
you
can
shower,
talk
but
tech,
that's usually
gentlemen.
how I do it, so I don't know.
Fair enough.
Clearly, you've chosen to talk showers.
All right, enough shower talk.
Cannon, thanks so much for joining us here last second. We're excited to have you around. We're going to jump right now to make use of the news of the news that you can, in theory, make use of at least. The top story, Twitter is tracking you now. Thanks for coughing directly into your microphone, James. That's
Sorry, I think I'm muting it, but it's not working.
Twitter's tracking you now, but it's going to let you turn it off. They're going to respect do not track, meaning they are the only company on the planet to do so. So, yay, I guess. And there's a little setting, and they cannot track you. Thoughts? James, you love tracking. Good, bad, excellent.
I would have assumed they were tracking you already. Why is this a story?
Because they weren't. Twitter has been a company that just kind of built an awesome thing and let millions of people use it, and now 5 years later they're like, oh wait, we should try to make money, shouldn't we? And tracking's one thing they're doing, but they're only tracking Americans, and they announced it on the 3rd of July, so sneaky. They didn't want anyone to notice. Thought everyone would be busy blowing crap up.
I thought didn't Twitter have that geolocation thing built into it? Like if you tweeted from an iPhone.
Oh no, yeah. The difference is now they're tracking where you go on the rest of the web, and using that to serve up more relevant advertising.
That's funny. I don't remember reading that in the notes. Was this in there yesterday?
It sure was.
Dang. I guess I just assumed that was normal for Twitter.
Yeah, I guess that's the real headline, is we don't know this year. But the Electronic Frontier Foundation, which is famously critical of any kind of tracking-based advertisements, they were okay with this because Twitter gave people the option to turn it off, and they were transparent about it. Is this a way forward, Kenan?
I guess if you like.
You're nailing it. You're nailing it. Don't worry. You'll get it. You got to be more confident. You just got to say crap, even if you've no idea if it's true or not.
If you enjoy
East Coast here can show you how it's done.
What exactly do they track? Do they track your location via GPS or something? Or
No, they're tracking other websites you go to in order to.
Oh, using like the tweet button.
Yeah, those things that they've got embedded on every page on the planet at this point.
And why are they doing this?
For ads.
Oh.
To show you more relevant advertising. The way Facebook's done for years. It's just, I guess it's news because Twitter has been kind of standoffish, avoiding doing stuff like this.
How did Twitter make money until now?
You can make money without doing that.
They had
No,
ads.
no, I'm sorry, you
They were
can't
based on
actually,
who
that's-
you were following before.
It was based on who you're following. I mean, Twitter has lots of information if you use the site regularly with which to see what you're interested in. So it's not like they were going in the dark. Now they're just supplementing that information.
Wouldn't they be better to just track your tweets and figure out what you like that way?
Well, they
Did
were already
that
doing
before.
that.
Now they're doing that and this.
It seems like you probably get much better info if you track someone's tweets. Hey, Twitter followers, I'm looking for a cool book. Oh, look, there's an Amazon ad. Wouldn't
But
that
what
be
about
better
people
than...
who just- But not everybody tweets like that. Some people just hashtag YOLO and shit.
Well, and what's
Are they
most
gonna show
interesting,
YOLO
James,
ads?
is the vast majority of Twitter users don't tweet. Rarely, if at all, they just follow people that they find interesting. They don't say anything themselves. Twitter doesn't advertise this fact, and you wouldn't know it to look at most of Twitter. But yeah, most people who use Twitter regularly don't really ever post anything. So that wouldn't necessarily be.
I don't post anything or read anything or use it.
Well, that's
Yeah,
just
so
not
you're
a Twitter
probably
user.
not part of, yeah. Yeah, you basically just auto-tweet this podcast.
That's
You can follow James at Wolfie Smith, and you will just see when the podcast goes up every week, and nothing else.
You'll probably
unless
see
he's being,
random make use of articles as well when I'm testing buttons.
sometimes, and
That's all I use it
sometimes
for.
you're like bribed by Microsoft to tweet stuff, and then you'll like, hey
Yeah.
guys, I'm gonna win a Bing.
Surprisingly, that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, they
I won't-
don't invite you to stuff. You think that they're listening to the podcast? I don't know. New York City is getting its own top. Oh, what? What's up?
We're having quite a bit of latency on the audio, I guess. It doesn't. Okay, on Twitter's official Android client, don't they have some sort of ad scheme set up? They have like sponsored tweets. Someone's gonna Google this.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to the ads that show up on the Twitter.com page. Yeah, and the iPhone. Yeah, they have sponsored tweets that show up, and it's just stuff a company wrote basically that shows up as a tweet, but it's marked as sponsored, and that's why you're seeing it there. But you can still retweet it if you want.
See, James, that's how they make money.
The comment section has
on an app you will never use ever.
has devolved into talks about the iPad without power in the shower for an hour. I don't know what's going on, guys, but keep it up. New York City is getting its own top-level domain .nyc. I have no idea what they're going to use this for, but it's there now, so yay. Now every city's going to want one, I guess. I mean, in Colorado, we just use .co. I don't even know which country that belongs to, but we just pretend it means Colorado, so we're kind of covered here. Does London need one, James? You can get one for London, maybe? What would that be?
It's just going to be more local
Dot
SEO
loc?
crap, isn't it? No, I don't want one for London.
You don't want one for London? Local
Not
SEO,
really.
those guys have fun. SEO, you know you don't.
I don't think my city would ever get one. I can't picture
don't
Danbury,
think so?
Connecticut having a domain. I don't think we're that important.
Does Connecticut want one?
Well, speaking for everybody in Connecticut, I'm going to say yes, we do, because I am the final word on all things Connecticut.
That's true. No, you're representing the East Coast today. We've made this clear.
I mean, there's really only like two important people who live in Connecticut. There's me and there's 50 Cent, and since he's not here to speak on the matter, I guess I'll speak.
Okay. 50 Cent's from Connecticut?
He lives here now. He's not from
Oh,
here.
he's not from there. Okay.
No, he lives in like Greenwich, you know, like the rich city where all the rich people spend $5 million on houses.
I think George
well,
Bush is from it's from Connecticut.
There you go. For
There
more
you go.
Connecticut facts, listen next week at a Technophilia podcast. It's going to be a wild ride. Technophilia this week and all of its Connecticut facts are brought to you by Bitdefender. QuickScan is Bitdefender's latest product. It scans your Windows computer in 60 seconds or less. It's cloud. The virus definition is always updated. It works with Microsoft Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, and Google Chrome. It basically allows you to perform a cloud-based virus scan on any computer in just 1 minute instead of having to wait for hours. To run a scan, go to quickscan.bitdefender.com, and there'll be a link in the description at makeuseof.com.
I tried it.
Yeah?
Yep, it works as it said it would work.
Did you install a bunch of viruses on your computer again?
No, I first because I have Bitdefender's main program installed, so I ran the full scan on that and it didn't find anything, and then I compared the results to the quick scan and same thing, said I was all clean. So
Well, there you go.
I wish I had a virus to prove that it would find it, but
Just
thankfully
go to
my computer is virus free.
givemeavirus.com or your neighborhood porn site. And
Is that-
you'll be right.
Give me.
James is actually checking it. So there you go. So
Well,
works
I have a
as
Mac, so I don't
advertised.
care. Sorry.
More. Let's jump on to the headlines of the week then. More advertising-based news. Google paid AdBlock Plus not to block their ads, thus defeating the purpose completely of AdBlock Plus. Now, James, you are a noted fan and enthusiast of all things AdBlock Plus, so I thought I'd hand this over to you for analysis. What's your take?
Yeah, AdBlock Plus, the high and mighty moral crusaders of intrusive advertising, otherwise
yes.
known as anyone that doesn't pay us.
Yeah.
Better internet for everyone, but ultimately are slowly killing it. And they've apparently decided to make money now by a little thing we called corruption, accepting bribes from large companies to not block certain type of ads.
It's really a trip reading their justification, because they're just like, well, it's a huge project to maintain, and we've got to make money somehow.
Well,
And
exactly.
everyone who works for an
They
advertising-based
realised that
website
without
is just like...
ad revenue, their Bing-in company couldn't survive. How do you like it now, guys?
Yeah.
I warn you, though, if people out there in internet land continue to block ads, it's going to force all websites to make their revenue more deceptively. So, I mean, I, for one, would have to start taking payments to give, like, a favorable review to an iPad game.
Yeah.
Whereas at the
I mean,
moment, I'm
that's one way you
ad-supported,
could
so
do
if a game sucks, I'm at liberty to say it sucks ass. I don't really care.
Yeah.
And most
Because there's someone
iPad
else
games
paying
do
for it.
suck ass.
Right.
Yeah.
What
Do you-
about all of the ad content that slows your website down? Like for a while, we had video ads on Make Use of those. I mean, I understand the reasoning for including those, but those are really intrusive. I actually installed AdBlock to stop
To block
those
the site you work for.
Let me like I actually whitelisted Make Use of, but I installed it to block those specific types of ads. They
Video
slow your
ad.
website. Yeah, well, you know, anytime you go to certain types of websites, those ads tend to be really prevalent. Getting rid of them is like that's the whole reason why people install AdBlock. If it was just text ads,
Well, no, some people install it just because they don't want to see any ads, period. I used to be among those people for a long time, actually.
even
bad
those
people.
text ads on Google.
Yeah, I just don't care for them. I
So
just want to see...
let me follow up on that, Canon, because we actually have an explicit order with our advertisers that says no video ads, and they still get through. And the only thing that we can do at that point is to specifically target them and say, just get rid of this ad, because we've already said no video ads. They don't get it. This is the
I
problem.
don't mind video ads as long as they don't autoplay. Like, if you have something there and it looks interesting enough, maybe I'll hit play, you know?
Yeah, we've been getting these new ones from something called Viewster, and it's really,
Okay.
really annoying. It's like a TV channel that plays in the sidebar. It's so annoying.
Yeah, you don't want that. You don't want that. And it's hard for sites that advertise to keep this in balance. But when people run into ads like that, they turn to things like AdBlock Plus in order to block it. But apparently, who isn't obtrusive. Of course, it's irrelevant if any AdBlock Plus user can just install a different filter that will then block Google after the fact. But most AdBlock Plus users don't do that. They just install the script and they think that ads are now gone. Hooray.
Well,
So.
James is somebody who really loves ads on all his websites.
Yeah.
What wouldn't you enjoy the fact that they're including some sort of whitelist so that good ads get through?
No, because they're the ones who determine what good ad. There's no such thing as a good ad.
They've made themselves the moral arbiters of the internet.
Yeah,
and
it's
they've said
disgusting.
if you want to be classified as a non-obtrusive ad, you should pay us. It's a mafia tactic, isn't it, Cannon?
I know I didn't know they were
It's
that
an awfully
specific.
nice website here. It'd be a shame. If someone-
I didn't know it was that specific. I thought they were whitelisting just text ads. I did read this article, and I got the impression that they were okay with text ads, but
But
they
isn't
were
that
not okay
entirely a subjective? I mean, I hate text ads because they look like a part of the content. At least with a banner or something, you can see, oh look, there's a picture, it's an ad. You know, I don't want a text ad at the start of an article making it look cheap and spammy.
I tend to click on those more. I'm sorry, Dave. What were you saying?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, that's
he
weird.
never says anything. I don't know why you would think he says something.
I thought I
Let's
heard
move
Dave
on
say
to a
something.
subject that will be a bit more interesting to Dave. Porn. Films. Pornographic films do not have copyright protection in Germany, of course, according to a recent court ruling. I guess it makes sense. The whole point of copyright is to protect the useful arts and sciences, and you could easily argue that porn has no use. So, yeah, bye-bye copyright protection for porn in Germany.
Nah.
But couldn't you argue the same thing about any movie? There's no use.
But you could... certain movies.
No.
Ones that don't
The
offer.
specifics of this were because the movies were deemed to be pure pornography, i.e., without any artistic merit. So it
Yes.
kind of seems to me like you could just throw in some black and white shots and classical music. Suddenly, your movie would have artistic merit. Like, calm down, internet. Not a big deal.
Just
I was
while
gonna say, like, what about ones
something's
with
happening,
story?
you could just say, "Oh man, this makes me really love you," just like I really hate what's happening in Syria. Oh, political commentary. Like, done.
Don't
Now
worry,
it's
internet.
protected.
German
Yeah.
dodgy fetish porn is not going anywhere. Move along.
I believe
Ah,
it was
moving on.
Californian. It was Californian
What were you
porn. It wasn't German porn. It was Californian porn, right?
Yeah, well, it was your porn, Cannon.
I know.
Why was
I'm
it?
just saying.
What are you talking about?
I-
Was it?
The company
It was-
suing the company in question was a Californian company. Most porn comes from California.
No,
from Los
comes
Angeles.
most good porn comes from other countries. Let's face it.
I wouldn't know. I'm
That's
just
true.
basing on the article. Oh man, let's not get too much in the specifics here.
Well, no, wait. I'm not Americentric or anything, but California Los Angeles in particular is known for its quality content. I'm joking. It's
In various kinds of film, yeah. Moving from Germany to France, they have given up on their 3 strikes rule. We talked about this in the past. The basic idea was that if you keep pirating stuff, you will eventually have your internet connection cut off. It's been a couple of years now. One person has had his internet connection cut off. Kind of angry that the program existed, so now it's gone. The end. Was this inevitable, James?
I'm sure we talked about this before when we said actually it was working, and that
Yeah, you're right.
piracy has gone down in France because of it. Why are they now? I don't understand France. They're a bit weird sometimes.
Someone threatened to go on strike, and it was just the end of it. Yeah.
Well, they
I don't know.
realized
I mean, you've got a very deeply
thing working.
unpopular president.
Wait, Dave
sorry,
was actually
Dave.
going to say something.
Yeah, I know, Dave.
Never mind, it's over. Let it go.
Oh
What
no,
was it?
come on, Dave. It's one of the few things we get out of you. Say it.
It's lost in history now.
Oh, for God's sake.
Just to clarify, make use of Overlord. So far as I know, Cannon has never appeared in porn. He just, as a Californian, identifies with it as his. That's all.
Can you confirm, California?
I had no wait. I'm sorry. What did someone just say? Was this from the chat
When you
room?
say porn,
Yes.
do you mean he's in it? When you say his...
No, well, if you go by my profile picture, that's a particularly illegal type of
Well, that's true.
pornography.
His profile picture,
Yeah.
for those who are listening, is a dog. His camera's not on, so far as we know, he is a dog. On the internet, no one knows you're not a dog, right? Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I've never seen you. Yeah, you could be a dog.
That's pretty good English for a dog, to be honest. I'm impressed.
Yeah, better than
thank
Scooby. Scooby
Yeah.
would just like... You thought he was a pretty smart dog because he could speak quite a few English words, at least for a dog, and then his stupid nephew came along, and apparently Scooby's been an idiot this whole time. Really upset me. Yeah.
On the France giving up on the 3 strikes law,
Yeah.
isn't it kind of draconian to just completely kill someone's internet it's for life, right? For life?
No, it probably wasn't even for life. It was just like with this particular service provider for a few weeks or something.
You know, it was 15 days is the worst that ever happened to anyone. And it was just a...
But it's the threat of that.
Hey.
Of getting
And
your
it's-
internet cut off for 15 days? People
I think
stop
it's the
pirating.
the scaling of the messages. You know, you get one that says, "We kind of saw what you did there. We're watching you," and then you get another one. It's like, seriously now, not kidding. And then another one. That's it. You're done for. You know? It's the scaling of the messages that makes people stop.
Yep. There's
Okay,
a similar
that makes-
system here in the States, except it has no teeth whatsoever. You won't lose your internet connection. You'll just keep getting nastier and nastier letters.
And there was a system exactly the same in Japan, and it worked. It worked because my friends got a letter and they were like, "Whoa, not
It
doing
freaks
that
people out.
anymore."
It freaks people out.
Yeah.
Like-
So it does work. I don't know why they're stopping it.
Well, in Japan, they incarcerate you after the third. They have like a 90% conviction rate. By the third time you've got caught pirating, or someone's either piggybacking on your IP address, you basically go to jail. And it was like some sort of it was the equivalent of a federal offense over there.
That's quite recent. I think it didn't come in until recently. The 90%
Because you didn't
conviction
go
rate-
to jail for it, and that's what you're basing that on. That's recent.
No, the 90% conviction rate is because everyone in Japan confesses to their crimes. No, I'm not kidding. That's
great.
Why is that?
Well, it's kind of this cultural thing where if you confess and then you say you're sorry, then you're basically going to get away with it.
Oh.
So I've
We'll
got a
have a thought.
theory I came up with
What's that?
just the other day, and that's we can prove that aliens don't exist because Edward Snowden. I mean, if Edward Snowden was going through all these secret databases and he noticed 2 things, that there's aliens being hidden in Area 41 and that the NSA is watching everything we do online, you think he wouldn't have thrown the alien stuff into the leak there? So this is my new thing. I'm sticking to it. Like, if you believe the government's covering up that aliens exist, fine. But if you believe Edward Snowden was covering it up, I don't know what to think about you.
I don't think he was going through a secret cache of.
He was going
files
through
as
everything,
such.
man. If aliens existed, Edward Snowden would have told us.
I
Unless
think
he's
he only
holding
had
it back.
access to this one presentation of PowerPoint.
No,
slides.
he would have had access to the alien stuff. No, I'm sticking with this. If aliens exist, Edward Snowden would have told us.
Well, maybe
This-
he's not done yet. Maybe he's
Every
just.
conspiracy theory, period. Because why would he have held that back? I mean, he was just looking through this crap for months. He would have found it. I bring this up only because PRISM, though terrifying, isn't historically without precedent. During the Civil War, it's been revealed Lincoln instituted a PRISM-like system in the 1800s. Every telegram in this country went through the Secretary of War's office, and he would read them, and they used this in order to gain an advantage in the war. Now, of course, telegrams in the 1800s weren't nearly as prevalent as the internet is today. But it's interesting to see that after the war ended, these powers were gradually taken away. Now, the problem with that is our current war is a war not against rebellious Southerners, but a war against an abstract concept that has existed since the dawn of time and will probably exist 50,000 years from now, terrorism. But if we could end this war, then maybe there's hope of these things going away. What do you think, Cannon?
Oh, that's funny. I think it's interesting that that Lincoln was. I guess they were routing every single telegraph line
All of
through
them.
one. Yes,
Through the White
one.
House.
Through one
Yeah,
building.
like, yeah.
The infrastructure to do that, it just seems like over time as communication increased, you would run out of space in the White House.
Yeah. Well, that's why they
So-
moved it to Utah, right?
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
But I just don't. It's not really It wasn't really feasible for them to continue that practice because you have to have a human operator for each one of those lines. But nowadays they just store it all, and then
Well, there were like maybe like 50 telegraphs sent in a day. I don't think it was nearly to the scale of what it is
Yeah,
now.
right.
Yeah, now they store like Google humanity's thought process. Yeah. So that's a bit more fun for them. But what's interesting to me here is similarly there was a war going on, so rights were just kind of swept to the side, which is what happens when people feel threatened.
Have you heard about the storage capacity of the NSA data center?
I'm sure it's bigger than mine.
It was
3 trillion petabytes.
3 petabytes?
No, 3 trillion petabytes.
Talk me through what a petabyte is.
It's a
One level up from a
Terabyte.
from a terabyte.
So it's like 100 terabytes?
1,000 terabytes.
Holy crap! That's a lot of bytes, man.
They're not just recording metadata, because metadata is all text based. They're basically recording everything we do. There's no reason for them to have that much, and there's nothing wrong with that. To the NSA agent who is listening in on this conversation.
Well, everyone's listening in on this conversation. It's the most popular podcast at makeuseof.com. I'm not. This is kind of my thing. I live my life like a public figure. So
there were a couple of more revelations about it this week or last week, I think. About.
Oh yeah, you guys are doing it. Congratulations, you've got your own.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
No, America apparently has like teams of NSA guys, the NSA techs in foreign service providers places, so that they can get them the info within like 30 minutes and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Do you know which countries are foreign?
No,
I mean, you're
don't know.
representing all foreigners this week. We need to fill
all
us in.
foreigners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way,
Just all of
this particular conversation is cross-Atlantic, so aren't we getting two different agencies listening in or recording?
Well, it doesn't matter. Everyone can listen. NSA, if you click through on a couple advertisements, I'm going to call it even. Yeah, just and download their scan tool to make sure your petabytes aren't lost forever, because that would be a shame. That would be a shame.
Petabytes. That's
it sounds cuddly, like a petabyte.
No,
be
it does not.
A pretty good name for a Pokemon.
It,
Like one
it
you
sounds
kind of want a pet, but you'd also be afraid of because it has fur and spikes.
Next one up is exabyte, I believe.
Exabyte. Yeah, see, that's the evolved form of the petabyte. It's less cute.
And then
And it breeds
I saw a thing on Reddit. Someone was asking if the NSA is watching everything, then why are like pedophiles not being arrested by the thousands all of a sudden?
Because they don't give a shit about pedophiles.
they don't give a shit about pedophiles. They care about hackers for some reason.
No, it's hackers and wasn't it terrorist activity the primary motivation for this thing existing?
I believe drug arrests was is the #1 arrest offense that they go for.
Huh. They care more about
See,
terrorists because it justifies their military spending, obviously. What are you going to do if you catch all the pedophiles
Any
apart from make a bunch of
different
children happy?
Facets. I mean, it's tied to so many different things. You've got the military-industrial complex. You've got this insane war on drugs, and you've got the you know what's
Security
interesting to me,
complex.
and I read about this. Yeah, the security complex. More people die from car crashes, like in a month, than
50
the total people who died in 9/11.
50,000 a year. Yes.
Yeah, that's like way more, but we just consider it like an act of God. Whereas Google could use like a centralized database to fix this completely with self-driving cars, but people are going to be like, no, I don't want to not drive anymore. But then terrorism, which is like this marginal threat at best, and yes, it happened, and yes, it was terrible, but there are other things that statistically kill more of us that we're just not as concerned about because humans are terrible at assessing risk. So we've got this massive PRISM system in order to, in theory, defer some minor kind of threat. And I don't know, people are don't want their guns taken away because
I think it's a matter of focus, because the media generally tends to focus on Snowden himself rather than the content of his leaks. Or
and to be fair, it's kind of easy because he's not exactly a. Yeah, he's going to Venezuela now, is the latest rumor.
Well, he accepted the asylum.
I mean, that's kind of, it makes it easy for the media to focus on him, because here's him criticizing America for not respecting his freedom of speech. But America didn't shut down the New York Times for reprinting the information he leaked. They're going after him because he swore an oath that he wouldn't leak the information and then did. You kind of lost your right to leak the information when you swore the oath that you wouldn't. No one made you swear that oath. You did that on your own.
Yeah, but
the newspapers that print the information, they're not persecuted. In Venezuela, if you criticize the government, your newspaper is shut down, or at best, burned down at worst. Like, it's just there's some hypocrisy there, and it makes sense that the media focuses on it because
but we're human beings, and by nature we're hypocrites. But the logic you're using makes it impossible for good leaks to actually occur.
No, that's true. That's true. But you can't swear an oath that you won't leak something and then leak something and not expect there to be consequences. I don't think there's a government on Earth that does that. Is there?
Well, would you criticize one of Hitler's SS who leaked secrets to the British intelligence service?
I mean, he did betray his country, and he should expect to be, if you can get out, do it.
So what you're saying is you love Hitler.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying, Cannon. That's exactly my argument.
That's what I heard.
Would you say that that's an apt comparison?
I don't know.
Different, is it? You're saying if you take an oath to not leak something and you leak it, you should face the consequences.
Well,
see what they would do to Snowden is they would disappear him. They would put him in solitary confinement. He wouldn't have access to the media, and he wouldn't be able to leak additional information.
Yeah. No, but it's being presented as a human rights violation, and I don't know. It's complicated, is all I'm saying.
It is. Yeah, it is.
It's complicated. It's not as simple as that, because
it's complicated,
and it's not as though Venezuela has a stellar reputation when it comes to these things. They're going to gain a huge propaganda point domestically and in Latin America because they respect freedom of speech more than America because they're giving this guy shelter. But
I'd like to put him in England.
Do you think if someone in Venezuela leaked information critical of the government, that Venezuela's government would be like, hell yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for leaking that information that makes us look bad. We're going to give you candy now. Like, they wouldn't. There's hypocrisy there. Like, yeah. It's not like there's any country that would be thrilled to have someone leak their government information.
Well, every country on Earth has human rights violations at some time in its history.
Yeah.
Like even Sweden committed human rights violations as early as I believe the 40s, the 30s or the 40s.
What do you mean? Sweden
we were great.
Established itself economically by pillaging UK and Holland, didn't they?
Well, no. Even in the modern era, almost every country on Earth has human rights violations. Even the most
totally.
liberal.
No, there's no country that's perfect. I'm not saying that there is, and it's a lot of jostling that happens around stuff like this, right? But
stop being so serious. Dave's turned off.
Okay, sorry, Dave. We can move on.
I was listening. I just don't have anything to add, and I can't. And there's nothing really funny I can say about this. It's not.
Yeah, there's nothing really that funny about it, and I want this. Don't like. It was good that this information was leaked, in my opinion. I think that. It's complicated.
I think from now on, when you pick topics, you should think to yourself, what can Dave say that's funny about it? If you can't come up with anything that Dave can say that's funny
I'll put
about
little
it,
jokes
you shouldn't talk about it.
In the outline.
Think about Dave when you think about the things.
Well, let's see if you can do something with this. Amazon is cutting back book discounts. For a long time, Amazon would actually lose money on the sale of a book in order to get people onto their site. So a book would be Amazon would buy the book for $10 and sell it for $8 because they want everyone to go to Amazon to buy the book, because once people go to Amazon, they tend to buy other crap they don't need. Amazon has, by and large, stopped doing this, however, meaning that authors now have to sell their books at the prices that the publisher set for them, which apparently is harder because people have gotten used to paying low prices. And Amazon, has already destroyed most of the competition in the space that they compete in, so they don't really care about publishing, which is something publishers have been saying about Amazon for a long time. This is what happens when a company gets a lot of power in a specific sector. You can expect
this is what
discounts
happens when the government steps in and starts having a go at Apple for actually trying to make some competition. Good job, government. You really did well there.
So does this mean that the ebooks on Amazon will finally actually be cheaper than the physical copies? Because it always seemed
they'll be
like
more
it was
expensive.
like the
No,
same
they're going to
price.
go up again.
So ebooks are going up along with physical books.
Almost.
Everything's
This is
going up.
just-
Yeah. Well, Amazon has the dominant platform. Their big selling point was our ebooks are cheaper, so you should buy a Kindle. And now that everyone bought a Kindle, why do they need to lose money on ebooks anymore? They don't. They were losing money
I thought that was
selling
dumb.
them.
That a physical copy costs the same price as an ebook, pretty much.
Yeah,
I don't-
because there's so much less overhead with the ebook, right? But there's downsides too. If you have an ebook, it's not going to burn. If your house burns down, it's not going to rip. If you spill cereal on it, you don't need a new
True.
copy.
But you also can't sell that book to somebody or loan it to somebody.
No, it's true. It's true.
And if Amazon goes out of business, you lose your ebook most likely.
Well, how's it work in video games? Say, is it cheaper to buy the online copy than the physical?
Generally not, unless you're talking about like Steam, because Steam likes to put stuff for cheap. But like
Because
if you're
they want
if
to
you're talking
become the dominant
Microsoft or
platform.
Sony, Sony, it's usually the same price, which I've always thought that was stupid too. I don't
Yeah,
get a
but
manual.
why
I don't
would
get
they
a box.
voluntarily offer one lower than the other if they can make the same money selling it? Except Amazon was the exception. They offered insane discounts for the Kindle books because they wanted people to feel justified in buying their Kindle e-reader. Well, if I buy this, I'll save money.
I think it should be like, just for the games, it should be like $5. Give them $5 off, just not have a manual in a box, and I'll probably buy it that way.
What
But
if you
you
get a
charge me the
PDF
same,
manual
and I'm
where
going
you
to
pay
the store.
$5?
I like $5. $5 is
The
good.
game's manual. Like, do people still do that? I remember with the Nintendo games, you'd find out all the villains' names and what
I
kind of
remember having
treasures
to
you can
look up a
find.
code to start the game, like 6th character on the 3rd paragraph page.
You probably had to write the game yourself in binary first, and then you had to walk
Yeah, I do that.
school uphill both ways. Yeah, we know how hard your life was when you were a kid, James.
James is going real old school on us here.
Mhm. It was awesome, actually. A coworker of mine at this company I support you I used to work for, he found these old magazines for like Commodore 64 enthusiasts, and it included like a free game, and it was the code. It was seriously like all the code you needed to program the game onto the computer yourself. And it was like 20 pages. I guess people would just sit there, type the code in, and then play the
Yeah, I
game.
remember doing that.
He's so much older than us.
You know, speaking
Either
of
that,
games, my
or
Sega
you had
Saturn
a
is not
terrible
working.
computer relevant to the technology of the day.
I'm really upset. I went to play Sega Saturn yesterday, and my Saturn seems to be not working. It must have broken the process of moving. I'm very upset.
Okay, I'm
What, your 10-year-old
So-
system is broken? What
Sega
about
Genesis. where does Saturn fit in?
Turbo Max.
It goes Sega Genesis, and then there's Sega CD, and then 32X, and then Saturn, and then Dreamcast.
What about Turbo Graphics? Do you
Wait,
have
so
that?
there were like 5 games for the Saturn?
has
Like, there's
everything.
not a
No,
lot.
No, there was. I think the Saturn has like 100 games in its library, 120 before they jumped to the Dreamcast. The Saturn is the system that Sega retardedly announced and then released the day they announced it, and everybody was
Right.
like, "What the fuck?" You know,
like this is already real.
they're like, "By the
So
way,
there-
guys,
there-
we're
there was
making a new
no-
console, and it's called the Saturn, and it's in stores right now. Go get it!" And everybody was like, "What? Who? What? What?"
Wait,
Wait, that works for Apple.
no, that's how Apple does it.
Apple usually waits a few days before they put stuff in stores.
No,
Dave.
Apple's
They
like,
don't.
here's this
Dave.
new thing. It's very shiny, and it's slightly bigger than before. And then everyone's like, ooh, shiny, bigger than bigger than before. And then everyone just buys it.
So I'm sad though. So we should have a
Yeah.
memorial for my Saturn, which has apparently bit the.
Well, you'll
I
have
can
to
help
another
you
one.
with that, Dave. I can help you with your Saturn, Dave.
Do you have a
Do you-
Do you have a Saturn?
Get an emulator.
No, fuck you. Get the fuck off my podcast right now. Get the fuck out.
Do you want a Nintendo GameCube?
I have those. A couple of them.
Okay. I
Thank
keep
you,
it under
though.
my desk. I keep meaning to sell it. I haven't yet.
Oh, speaking of which, this is not related to the podcast, but I have a pile of Sony memory cards. I remember you saying you needed one of those.
Oh, I found one. It was in my Final Fantasy box.
Right,
So I
'cause
didn't
I have
even
about
need the
60
emulator.
now.
Oh, cool.
Anyway.
So the biggest growth market for cell phones on the planet right now, bar none, is China. Now, the Chinese market is different than the American market in one key way, and probably the English market, James, you can comment on this, but here, when you buy a phone, say an iPhone, you pay a margin of dollars, and you pay for the rest of it while paying the carrier during the course of your contract. It does not work that way in China. By law, you basically buy the phone and then you pay specifically for the data. There's no subsidies to pay for your phone tied into that. This leaves Apple in a really hard spot because people see the full price tag. It's amazing to me. I used to fix phones here in Boulder, how people didn't realize how much they were actually paying for their smartphones because the carriers are so clever about hiding this. I would go to fix a screen on an iPhone 4, and I'd explain, okay, it's going to cost $150 to do this. And he's like, well, I can buy a new phone for $100 right now from AT&T. I'm like, no, you can't. That's an $800 phone. You can't. And they'd get mad at me and yell at me and then go to AT&T, and then they'd always come back a half hour later. Yeah, okay, fix the phone. Because they just have no idea that it costs that much because they're paying for it month after month. Yeah.
I used to work at AT&T, and I'd have the same thing. People would be like, but I just bought this phone from you 3 months ago for $200, and now you want to sell it to me for $8? Well, yeah, then you were eligible for a new contract, and now you're not. So, yeah, sorry about that, bitch.
The point being, people here don't realize when they buy a phone that they're paying for it during the course of their contract. Well, in China, there is no such thing, and in China, people don't have nearly as much money as here on average. So when they see that they have to pay $800 for an iPhone, or they can get a Chinese-made Android device for $50, they go with the Android devices. Apple is going to have trouble competing in that market. So is Samsung. The New York Times outlined the challenge quite well, I thought. James, you are a long-time, shall we say, Apple enthusiast. Do you think this is a problem for them long-term? There's not a lot of growth left for them because everyone in the first world owns 3 iPhones.
No, because people will always want the new iPhone. That's not a problem at all. I don't think they're going to have that much of an issue in China either, because China's rapidly becoming very middle class, and that's exactly their kind of market. I'm not sure how legit this is about not having subsidies on phones. I'm sure they do it. I think the only reason Android does well out there is because they have huge third-party markets for pirate apps, just like they do with Windows.
Mm.
Isn't HTC really big out there? Or am I imagining that? I heard
HTC is a little more higher end than this. Some of the big companies in China making smartphones got into the market very recently, and they don't sell phones out here. We haven't heard of them. I'm trying to remember.
Oh,
the names of
Lenovo.
the company
Isn't that the other one?
No, they don't
Lenovo,
make phones, I
again,
don't think.
is an outward. They're starting to make phones in that market, actually. Low-end phones. So it's companies like Highway. Lenovo is one of them. ZTE,
Huawei.
Coolpad, Xenomi, and Oppo. They're companies we haven't heard of here, and they make really low-end phones that sell really well in that market.
Have you guys heard of the Goo phone?
The Goo phone? No. What is the Goo phone?
I actually wrote an article on it. You can check it out at the main site. It's just search for the word Goo phone, G-O-O phone. There's actually a really interesting story here. Do you remember when when Gizmodo leaked that story about, or they published a story about that stolen iPhone 5?
The iPhone 4. The iPhone 4, I think it was.
I thought it was the 5.
And he found it in a bar. Well, we just talked about this last week. I'm pretty sure it was the 4. I could be wrong, though.
I might be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, there was a Chinese manufacturer, Goo phone, that got a hold of the prototype schematics for the iPhone 5, and then they before Apple actually copyrighted it, they copyrighted it in China and so by international law, they then
Oh my
held
goodness.
yeah, it was amazing. But so then they started
Oh my
pumping out
goodness.
knockoffs of the iPhone 5, and it was like a
But they
custom.
own the property.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure Apple settled out of court with them, but they announced intentions to file suit against Apple, sue Apple
Mhm.
for their own product in China. And according to the trade agreements that we've signed, the U.S. would have had to have observed the Chinese law on this. But it's really
insane.
but it is actually a surprisingly high quality phone. The resolution isn't quite on par with the iPhone 5, but it uses a custom skinned version of Android that looks very, very similar to iOS 6. But take a look at the article. It's in my
Nice.
opinion.
So throw a link up in the description here, Ken. So that
I have
everyone can check it out.
how do I do that? I have
Just
no
paste
idea.
it in the Google Doc, man.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Cool. So here's a weird thing. In the 90s, some people did, and they had
Say that
televisions.
again, you got completely cut off.
I'm sorry about that. It's beyond my control. In the 90s, some people didn't have computers, but they kept hearing about this internet thing and the Yahoo, and they wanted to use it. So Microsoft sold something called Web TV. It was a little set-top box you would buy. You could connect it to your TV and then connect it to a phone line, and you could get to the internet directly without the need for a pesky PC gumming up the works. It was terrible, and it's been working until this month, apparently. Microsoft has kept these things running this long. I don't know if anyone was using it, but it's pretty amazing that they kept it going that long. I mean, I don't even know if the Xbox Live is going to run as long as this did. So, did you have one of these, Dave? You seem like you were on the cutting edge.
I most certainly did not have
Mm.
a web TV. But I
No.
wanted one when I was a kid. I remember thinking that it was like the coolest thing. Like, wait a second, you mean to tell me I can look at the internet on the TV? Because I had like a big projection TV. But then I
remember having
people saying you're not supposed to use them on projection TVs because of the burn-in or something. I thought I remember that.
But could you imagine the hamster dance? On
Oh man,
on
it would have been.
TV.
Man,
It would have blown your mind at the time.
I could have waited like 10 minutes for those websites to load on my 56K and then looked at them on my TV, and it would have been freaking cool.
In a typical Microsoft move, I remember that web designing for these things was just impossible, and that you just had to forget them. Like
Yeah, I'm
Internet
sure.
Explorer, just ignore them. They didn't.
Well, what's the
exist.
resolution on a TV pre-HD, which is when this would have came out, right? It was like 800 by 600 or something like that. Like, and it's huge.
Less than that.
It would have looked terrible.
How did these get the internet? They actually required an internet connection, though, didn't
There
they?
was a phone line.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
was
was
like a modem.
56K.
so it
It was
wasn't
a
like they did
56K modem built into
internet
it.
over
and
the
then-
TV or something. They were just like a cheap, shitty computer, basically.
You didn't need to buy a computer. It was one box. And it didn't do
And it
anything
didn't do
but...
anything else. You couldn't put Microsoft Word on it or something.
No, it would just connect to the internet.
It's funny because now we have these things called Raspberry Pi, which are basically the same thing.
Yeah, but
Things
much
like
cheaper.
Android TV. But
And you don't have to pay Microsoft every month for the privilege.
yeah, true.
Yeah. The main reason this is notable to me is the fact that Microsoft kept it running to 2013. Like, you think around 2003, they'd be like, hey, no one's really using this anymore. But I guess
Wasn't
enough
even the
people
thing
were
they had
using
to
it
run.
keep
I
it.
mean, wasn't it just an interface?
No, like, you bought the internet connection through Microsoft.
Oh, because I just saw a screenshot where it said you could add your own ISP.
Oh, well,
I guess that was a thing too.
maybe that was a thing too, but how many sites still worked on this in 2005? Like, did the thing even have Flash? Were they offering... Like, I don't even know. Because Homestar Runner's the one thing you'd kind of want on your TV back in the day, right? But I don't know if it would have worked. Blows my mind. Speaking of
Maybe we should
Microsoft...
do like a retro review of.
retro
That would be
review.
so awesome.
Well, you should try to get one before it stops working forever, Dave. You seem pretty good
Well,
at
you can put your own
procuring
ISP in, then it probably works.
old-fashioned
doesn't it?
electronics. I don't think your broadband ISP is going to work that well.
Maybe I can download like an ISO for something.
You can
Maybe.
still find them on Amazon.
You know what blew my mind? I was in a thrift store and I found they had these email machines. And it didn't even plug into a TV. It was just like a little thing with a 56K modem built into it, and all it did was email. Like you would set up. It had a screen like I'd say like half an inch by 5 inches that you could type on and read stuff on, and that's it. Just email. So they had dedicated machines for everything. Now we just have computers that do everything. And you know what? It's probably a lot better.
Well, there you go.
So Microsoft has a long-standing quest to get onto every screen in the world and to have everything. And one of the ways they hope to do this is with Windows 8's awesome new Metro interface, which is revolutionarily flat and just generally way more exciting than boring desktop apps that allow you to do legacy things like multitasking that no one really cares about.
Multitasking? Why would you want to do that?
Exactly. I mean, it's stupid that people want to multitask on their computer. I can't think of a conceivable reason someone would want to see 2 apps at the same time. Unless, of course, one of them was a stupid little strip at the side of the screen. Then that would be awesome. So yeah, Microsoft has been pushing that they have 100,000 apps. What's in the App Store at this point? James, you're our expert.
I haven't used Metro on my Windows 8 machine since I...
No, in iOS, Apple's App Store.
In Apple's App Store?
Yeah, it's like 50
How many
gajillion or
apps?
something.
Jesus,
yeah,
I lost count. I don't care, to be honest.
Anyways, 100,000 is a pittance. But apparently their approval process is so ridiculously easy that tons of transparently fake apps make it in. If you search for an app in Microsoft Store, you only see the first few words because of the way the awesome interface is laid out in order to reduce redundant information, like the whole name of the program. So there's these apps that cost $10. One of them is called Google Chrome Guide, but it's written so that all you see before you click it is the word Google Chrome, and people think that they're finding Google Chrome. Now you can't download Google Chrome from the Microsoft App Store. So this thing is just a transparent scam. And it gets in there, and you can find tons of these by going through the Windows 8 store. So they claim to have 100,000, which is a pitifully low number to begin with, considering it's the most popular operating system on the planet, and it's been out for 6 months. And then a lot of the apps are quite clearly fake because they aren't cutting them even as well as Google is with Android, and that's saying something.
The trouble is they don't actually check them unless they're told to. It's not an approval process like that, from what I can see. They just approve it, and if there's a problem, then they'll take it back.
Then they'll take it down after? Okay.
Yeah, then they'll take it down. But other than that...
I used Windows 8 apps primarily to find apps I thought were worth reviewing, and I did find some gems, including Next Gen Reader, which is basically Reader for Mac, but for Windows, and it was only available in Metro, and I liked it. It was good in many of the same ways that Reader is. So there were exceptions. But for the most part, exploring the Microsoft App Store, it's really hard to find anything worth getting. Kenan, have you tried it? Have you explored?
The Windows 8.
The Windows 8 Marketplace, or whatever it's called?
What's funny is I have a TechNet license. So I have like 20 copies of, or it's probably more like 60 copies of Windows 8.
Yeah.
And I haven't even installed it yet.
You review software for a living, at least in part.
They're killing off TechNet later this year, aren't they?
Yeah,
and they're killing it. Yeah,
so get as many eyes. Microsoft also updating Windows 8 to Windows 8.1, codename Blue. Stunning new features include a start button that takes you to the home screen. Yay! Was there anything else?
No.
That was it.
I mean, that was our main complaint, the lack of a button. It wasn't that we missed the start menu. It was the button, Microsoft.
Yeah.
You've really got this down. Kashi from the chat is saying that he's heard about the Aux phone. So there you go, Dave. That joke's...
Dave has a phone. Huh.
Yeah. There
How
you go.
are you reading the chat room from like 30 minutes ago? What?
I just thought I would
scroll
it
down.
There's nothing's been interesting since. Microsoft's going to lose the enterprise market if they keep updating their OS so often. I don't know. Big business moves slow. Most are scrambling to get off of XP. Yeah, a lot of people are still using XP, believe it or not. And what blows my mind is the number of businesses in order to run their web software. It's unbelievable, but it's true how slow some of these companies work. But, they can all switch to Metro apps. It's going to be awesome for them. It's going to be great. Let's move on to the gaming news then, the part of the show where Dave wakes up and talks to us a little bit. Top story this week is Zombie U wasn't remotely profitable. Now, I'm surprised that Nintendo, which is famous for having kid-friendly first-party games, couldn't do well with a shooter zombie-type game on a platform no one owns. Dave, are you similarly shocked?
It's funny because I actually added 4 of these 5 stories, but go ahead.
I've read all of these stories throughout the course of the week, though. So
nice. You're ahead.
I mean, Zombie U was a mediocre shooter, anyway.
It was like the launch title for the Wii U. It was the only damn game they had, wasn't it?
It was the only, because when they pitched the Wii U, they kept saying they were going back to the hardcore games. They were going to make, obviously Nintendo didn't make this game, Ubisoft did, but it's supposed to be back to the games that gamers wanted, and this was supposed to be the one that was supposed to do that. But
that actually takes advantage of the Wii U thing.
It's not surprising that it wasn't profitable because not many Wii U's were sold.
And not even that.
And Ubisoft had to develop the game on a platform they had no experience with,
and the game was just not good enough to carry a console. I mean, it was an okay shooter, but that's all it was. It was an okay shooter.
And it seems like gamers just aren't sold on the concept of a souped-up Dreamcast controller as the primary interface.
That's one way to describe it, I guess.
I love the way Ubisoft described this as nowhere near profitable, and I quote, "Not even a little bit."
Yeah. So I mean, the bigger question.
Yeah. What's the bigger question?
The question here is is this gonna deter people who have perhaps not released a big Wii U game yet? Are they gonna be like, no, fuck this?
It already has. EA said they're not going to do anything on it.
Well, they said that a long time ago before this came out, though.
Yeah.
Oh, will this specifically deter other?
Yeah, when people seeing Ubisoft saying this game was an utter failure and it was marketed to shit, where people like.
Well, it's hardly going to spur them on, is it? I mean.
No.
Yeah. So.
Well, why don't we have a go? And I'm sure we can do better to a console which hasn't sold anything.
I mean, the Wii was flooded with crapware early on. Most of the third-party companies weren't the big gaming companies people are familiar with. They were just making Wii Sports clones as quickly as possible to try to cash in. And some of them made a bit of money, but there's not a lot of the big things. The chat room is at makeuseof.com.
I would suggest that Ubisoft go on and now make games for Ouya. I think they'll do a lot better there.
Oh, this again. Okay. There's one console that's selling less than Nintendo. It's the Ouya at this point.
Hey, it's the most successful Kickstarter campaign in the history of the Kickstarters, or something.
There we go. Well,
I thought they sold out of the Ouya at every major retailer on launch day.
Maybe. Amazon still has plenty of them in stock.
Oh, I think lots of people bought them. That's not the problem. It's a piece of shit. That's the problem.
As a streaming media center, I thought it was a pretty good deal.
That's a pretty expensive streaming media center.
$100? That's not expensive for a media center.
Well, my Pi does it a lot better, and that costs like $50.
Actually, from what I understand, from what I've read from people in the know, the Ouya is substantially better than the Pi as a media center.
Well, it's better hardware. Tegra 3.
Yeah, it's
I just bought some Android TV stick things, which I'm going to try it on as well. They were about $80 each. I'll be reviewing them.
Those are like rock chips and media.
Yeah, they're like
chips.
quad-core, 2 gig of RAM. They're going to kick the ass of this Ouya. That's what I said last year. It's outdated already before they've even sold it.
No. Well, you're talking quad-core A7. Tegra 3 is quite a bit better than even a quad-core A7.
Yep. The Tegra 3 is a beast, man. Don't underestimate the Tegra 3 processor. If there's one thing I've been playing the Ouya. I'm going to be putting the review of it through tomorrow. That thing is fast as shit.
Can it handle games that aren't just like Angry Birds though? Is it going to be able to handle a shooter
there's shooters.
The new Grand Theft Auto, for example? Would it be able to do that?
No, but it can handle shooters that are made that are smaller shooters that are made.
Shooters that are designed for
an Xbox One game, but
iPhone kind of level.
So it could run Wii games pretty well, is what you're saying?
Yep, it could run Wii games. That's about the level of graphical fidelity I would say. It's somewhere between the Wii and...
there's definitely a market for that, but it's also also a crowded space.
Now, don't
And you
get me
could
wrong.
get-
I'm not defending the Ouya. I think it's.
You could get a Wii for $50 on Craigslist at this point if you want that kind
I
of
think
graphic
overall,
power.
I think the Ouya is a shitty games console. So I'm not defending it, but it's not as shitty as people are saying it is. But it is not good. Does that make sense?
That's only mildly better. Yeah. Okay.
Gaming analysis from Dave Leclerc. Not as shitty as you think, but still shitty.
Yeah, but it has potential.
Okay.
To be,
Are they-
it just needs some good games.
Don't they have an I/O issue? Because pretty much every Tegra 3 platform that tried to come in at a budget price point, they were using really cheap flash modules, so they were having like write issues. They were having I/O issues.
I don't know why you're trying to take this podcast into an actually technological kind of direction. What's wrong with you?
We're
I'm
not
sorry.
we don't know what you're saying. Sure, dude. That sounds good.
Mine bricked the day that I bought it, the day that it came.
I heard, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a sign of quality.
But the
Maybe
new one has been
Overlord from the chat is saying the next Nintendo console will be named the Wii U Me. Well, that seems like an obvious progression, actually.
Actually, what if Nintendo and Ouya merge and they make the Wii Ouya?
What?
It's the Wii U and the Ouya combined. Wii Ouya.
Wow. I think
Future, maybe.
Cool.
Could happen.
I think you shouldn't go into marketing. Next
Speaking
story.
of Nintendo.
Wait, no, hold on. No, hold on.
No?
You can't
What?
your segue.
Okay.
Speaking of bad names for consoles, we're going to skip to that story because that's...
Oh, do it.
What?
Stupid names considered for the Xbox. This is a masterpiece. We can move stories around, James. It's going to be fine.
It was too good of a segue to not do it. So I had
Except
to
now we've talked about the segue for longer than anything. So again, we've killed it.
I know. All right,
Gizmodo.
let's go back to the other story then.
Excellent list of names Microsoft actually considered for the original Xbox, which I want to call the Xbox One, but the Xbox 3 is the Xbox One, so I whatever. So here are some
just so bad,
actual names.
God.
A Max.
The Xbox 3 was an
for-
Xbox One.
The third Xbox is named Xbox One.
So it's like Star Wars?
Stupid, sort of like Star Wars.
It's like
I
a
don't know.
prequel.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's
a
Big
It's a
bastard names,
prequel.
isn't it?
But Max was the first name, or Microsoft Action Experience.
It's the spreading out of the acronyms that really make them bad. The acronyms themselves, some of them are okay. Like Max.
Would you buy something called Max?
Yeah, I have no
It
problem.
sounds like
with
a
Max.
great
What I
name
have
for a
problem
game
with
console
is
in the 80s. Like I would have
Max
bought
is
the
fine,
Axe.
but
It's
Microsoft
extreme.
Action Experience, that's just ass.
That's a stupid.
Shut up and read the rest.
Oh, how do you even pronounce that? The
AO.
AO.
I assume you just
MPOC.
pronounce it AIO.
No,
Or
they have
all
the
in one.
MPOC.
Face for
MPOC.
full action.
Get to the MPOC one.
What?
It's like Tupac. It's
MPAC. M-PAC. MPAC. It sounds like a political conference that I don't want to go to.
No, that's perfect for a console. For like a home media.
Everyone's just going to be
entertainment center.
pissed if it doesn't come with Pac-Man, though.
All right, don't read all of these out loud. This list
No, we're not going to. We're just going to get some EHQ they thought of for entertainment headquarters. What were they thinking? Like,
That sounds like
I'm glad they went with Xbox.
You know-
Met for the Microsoft Entertainment Technology. Oh my goodness.
There is.
By the way,
there
half
is
of
an
these are actually
interesting one in there, though.
existing acronyms like AMP or VPS or MAP.
Oh, my favorite ever.
That's so
R&R.
stupid.
R&R for reality and revolution.
If you notice, though, there's one in there, the TSO, the 360. That's very interesting. That before there was an Xbox, they were considering the 360.
Oh, so they just... Oh, crap, we need to name our second console. Well, let's go through the list of names we generated last time. See if there's something...
Yeah, those were really good, so we should go back to that well again.
Wait, maybe that's not what it stands for. Maybe there's a...
It says right in the acronym, it's
360 code or something.
360.
What
Trans-Siberian Orchestra? I don't know.
meaning? Three.
Anyways, good job, Microsoft. Xbox was pretty good. Xbox One, I'm still going to say this. This is pretty... Kashi is suggesting EMAC would have been a good name for their console. Yeah.
I don't know with that what's that camera, the 3D camera that they were going to put that they already are going to put on the
Kinect?
Is that what they call it? No,
The one
maybe
that
that
already
is
exists.
Yeah.
What?
The I can't remember the name of
You're
it.
not a
Maybe it was
gamer,
the
are you?
Kinect. No, I'm not. I'm not a gamer.
Right.
But no, they could have named it the Xbox NSA because it's gonna spy on you. Yeah.
That was a long road to take to a joke that just doesn't.
I'm not a very funny person at all.
Let me say the joke. Don't worry, Cannon, because James isn't a gamer either.
Boom! Oh yeah, that was good. Oh,
that landed. That landed, Dave. That was excellent. That was fantastic.
It would have been better at the time when James first asked Cannon if he's a gamer, but Cannon kept saying things.
You gotta let Dave stick up for you. 24,000 Club Nintendo users have had their phone address and personal info exposed by a hack. James, I believe you put this story here. My understanding is that the hack was they got a bunch of usernames and passwords from another site, and then like a couple million, and then they tried using them on Club Nintendo because a lot of people have the terrible habit of using the exact same username and password for every service they have on the web. That's what I understood happened here.
That sounds pretty
accurate?
legit.
Yeah.
There's not much else to this story, really. They were hacked.
No, so just remember, kids, don't use the same account for all of your things, because then if one gets leaked, hackers will try them on all the other conceivable services. And if one like Club... Yeah, go ahead.
About this is that they've said the attack campaign began on June the 9th and was attempted 15.5 million logins over the following month. I've got to ask myself, what kind of idiot is in charge of security there that you couldn't identify this and just like do an IP block on whatever?
Well, they probably noticed that the little MacBook Mini that they run Club Nintendo on, based on the speeds I get when I use this site, was running a little hot. But other than that, I mean, the intern just started using it to keep his coffee warm, and then it just took a while for them to,
Have you guys ever got anything from Club Nintendo?
I have. I got a couple free games from it.
Alright, I got a pack of cards with dead or alive characters on it, like all the bikini girls. I got some old, they're like Game & Watch kind of retro Mario.
Oh, that's awesome.
LCD games.
You got more points than me, dude.
Well, the thing is, when I worked for university, I somehow convinced them to buy a Nintendo DS for like the language study programs, and then I got all the coupons and entered them in.
No, which was
pretty awesome.
The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask for Wii. I just haven't played it yet. But that's what I got from them. I was pretty happy with that.
That's pretty cool.
Because that's a good game.
Not that I like Nintendo, because you know I hate it, but hey, free stuff.
I love Nintendo, but I'm stuck in the past when it comes to gaming. Unabashedly. There's no time for me to get into new games. They look hard.
You should just play Dota.
What I should do is just play Facebook games. Microsoft tried to buy Zynga before the Xbox left. Okay, so the head of Xbox left to head up... I mean, this is fascinating, right? What does this say about Xbox? That the head of the Xbox project left to be Zynga's CEO.
But then even weirder, they tried to buy it before he did that.
Well, because the future of the Xbox is Windows 8 apps, as we said before, and Zynga could start making Windows 8 apps that everyone wants.
It's just it really worries me if they try to buy a company that built Farmville. You know,
a company that tries to take the least fun aspects of gaming and just get everyone hooked on them.
Yeah. It's worrying for me.
People are really shocked by him. They're like, why would he leave the head of Xbox to go to Zynga? But what people are forgetting is he's not the CEO of Microsoft. So he left being the head of a division to be the CEO of a company. It's actually a move that makes sense.
He left the Hindenburg.
If someone offered me
onto
twice
a Titanic.
Yeah,
but Zynga is doing very poorly right now, so he does have a tough road ahead of him. It's not like he's walking into like a cushy job. Zynga is losing money at a very fast rate right now.
Dave has specifically said, Dave P., that he doesn't like Kashi, and he's not going to hang out in the chat room if Kashi's around.
What?
So
when did Dave say that?
That's what's going on. No, he just doesn't like Kashi very much. It's a rivalry. So what I would suggest, Kashi, is bugging Dave on Twitter as much as possible until he shows up in the chat room again. I think that'll fix it.
Be sure to comment on all of his articles as well.
Send me
Yes,
an
comment
email.
on all his articles at makeuseof.com, and be sure to put up a video explaining the many ways you can pronounce his name.
All right, I wanted to take this next story because
Go
we've
for it,
always
dude.
been talking about how Sony is such a good guy by their used game policy and with the PS4 and all that. And
Yep.
yeah, and I'm sorry, but that's bullshit. They've come out with next-gen video players should be always online. So the ones that are going to be like ultra high definition 4K things, they want to put them online. They want to put online DRM on them. This is what they believe is the future. So I just wanted to put
Unlike
this
the
in here.
successor to Blu-ray, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it'll be the successor to Blu-ray, basically.
Wait, people are still going to buy discs in the decade to come?
Apparently.
Huh,
Or
I
they're
didn't
going
know.
to down. I don't know what. Well, no, you'll have to buy discs for these. They're ultra high D. But yeah, so Sony is not always the good guy.
No,
However,
no.
I would like
you
to
don't
add-
have to convince much of anyone of that. It was kind of shocking that they were the good guy in this case because, they made. I remember their CD. They've got a long history of this. Their CD players back in the '90s would not play any burnt disc. Period. It just wouldn't recognize them because they made CD players, but they also owned a music label, and they didn't want anyone to be able to play burnt CDs. I remember that. My grandfather had a Sony CD player hooked up to a stereo, and we couldn't listen to any of the discs we made because it just
Unless you had whiteout.
Whiteout would do it.
Yeah, you'd white out the first the control track or what that first.
It would work.
Old school hacking, nice.
Yeah, but Sony also. I mean, when they started making MP3 players, they had the most restrictive software for transferring music to it.
They're also the ones who
just
placed the
imagine,
rootkit virus onto their CDs.
Onto their CDs, yeah. So it's not like this is. I mean, that's what made the Microsoft thing so shocking, is that someone managed to make Sony look good by comparison. That was we were all aware that Sony isn't the good guy. It's just
Okay, fair enough. Just so we know, just so we're clear, they're not the good guys.
No, they're not.
However, one thing I would like to add is that the way Sony runs itself as a company, its video division is basically a separate company from its gaming division.
That's
so
true,
decisions
that's very true.
made by Sony's, like their video division and then their camera division and their TV division, those are completely unrelated to anything gaming. They don't consult each other. They function as separate companies. So that is something to keep in mind.
And a lot of Japanese companies are structured like
so
they do
speaking
so
of
many
any big
different
company,
things.
right?
Video people decide to do DRM. It has no effect on that. They might change their mind on the PS4 because that might as well be Sony and Microsoft. Those are two separate companies, basically.
Yep.
Wait, hold on a second. The decision to use Blu-ray basically, they were trying to exploit some sort of corporate synergy between the video and the.
Oh, it's not like they
that was
ignore
when Sony
synergy.
had a thing where they were trying to unify their company. They had they put out a thing that's saying like the Sony brands are going to start to function more like one unit, and then they stopped that real quick.
Why? That was a great win for Blu-ray, wasn't it? I mean, the fact that the PS3 played Blu-rays was one of the early advantages.
It was mutually beneficial too because it was a win
yeah.
for the PS3 along with the. It wasn't like it just benefited the video.
It was the
division,
cheapest
it benefited
Blu-ray
both
player on the
divisions.
market. I know. At
Trying
least
to
two
change
people.
anything in a Japanese company is impossible, so that would never have worked.
Yeah,
You know what's easy? That was changing the Japanese government or the Japanese bureaucracy.
and apparently
That's-
getting Japanese people to confess to crimes is also apparently true. Yeah,
That's true. Apparently.
Does anyone here actually like Blu-ray as a format?
I don't have a
I don't
problem
own
with
a
it.
single Blu-ray disc. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't own any. Why? I don't
I've used
dislike it.
Blu-ray discs. They're fine. I don't know. They don't hurt anything.
Do you dislike them?
No.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
indifferent.
You dislike them.
I dislike them.
Are you underwater?
Yeah, your mic's
Oh no, Canon died.
Cannon's gone. Okay. So there we go.
Turned into
Sony
a
not
dog.
necessarily. The
Okay,
good
wait.
guy.
No, I'm back. I'm back.
Okay, what do you got?
Well, one of the issues with Blu-ray isn't it that it's more or less a raw format, so they don't really use compression. And they could have achieved the same storage benefits just by implementing better compression.
I didn't know that.
But it looks pretty. Again, We're not going to debate the merits and cons of a Blu-ray because I am not qualified to do so, and I haven't lived in America long enough to confidently argue for points I know nothing about. I just
Physical
don't
media
have
is
that
dead
skill.
anyway. Who cares?
I think books will be around a while, but yeah, I don't think people are going to be buying discs that much longer. Let's move on to what you've been using, the part of the show where we talk about things that we've been using. It's a very aptly named part of the show. Starting, we've got a Face 2 GIF. Was this one of yours, James?
Yes, it's very cool. It makes use of new HTML5 browser APIs, so it can directly access your camera. And then you go to the site. You can it's a bit like Vine, you know, where you can record like a 6-second clip or something, and it turns that into a GIF. So you can then embed that somewhere. But the really cool thing about it is that it doesn't actually upload and process anything on the server. It's all processed in your browser.
Cool.
So the image never goes to anywhere remote. It all stays in your browser.
But
and you can
can
one-click upload it. Yeah, you can one-click upload it to ImageGo as well.
Imgur,
Which is
cool.
Which is awesome.
It's really
Yeah,
fascinating how GIF, this format that kind of died out after the 90s, has had this massive resurgence. There's something about it that captivates people.
Yeah, it was always used for flashy things, but now it's used for actual movies and kind of...
Without sound, but there's also a site, Gits with Sound. Have you seen this?
You can add a YouTube video to play along with the GIF, that one?
Just for the audio, yeah, and it's hilarious what people do with it. It's pretty fantastic, yeah. So that's pretty cool too. GIFs with sound. A lot of people who listen to the show regularly know that I am obsessed with production to the point where it hurts my productivity. I'd like to give another example of that for you today. Tomate. I don't know how to say this. It's called tomatoes.es is the top-level domain. Tomatoes. Jerk. It's a Pomodoro app. The idea is you work 25 minutes, take 5 minutes off, work 25 minutes, take 5 minutes off. I find it helpful for me. If you find it helpful for you, this is the best site out there for it. I found some desktop apps that kind of work, but none of them worked quite as well as this, so check it out. Link in the description.
I always thought Pomodoro was a pasta sauce.
It's Italian for tomato, and the method is so named because the guy who created it had a little timer that looked like a tomato, like a little kitchen timer.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's why it's called that. But it's the Pomodoro method. You work for 25 minutes, then take 5 off, 25, 5, and then after the 4th time you take a 15-minute break. And the idea is that rather than be distracted by everything on the web while you're supposed to be working, you work and then give yourselves 5 minutes of straight distraction time. And because of that, the 25 minutes of focus is much more intense than it otherwise would be. It's a programming technique. It works for writing for me. It might work for you. Check it out. I like this site particularly because it has a leaderboard, and sometimes when I'm really on top, I can get into the top 10, and it makes me feel like I'm being productive. I don't know why. Gamification's awesome. I'm like, oh man, I'm one of the best in the world at actually focusing today. This is awesome. Yeah. So, we can just skip this next one here. And I found this cool font online. It's called Redacted, and if you want to make your own NSA parody, I'd recommend downloading it. It makes your text look like blocked out text.
I don't want to sound
Couldn't be
stupid,
simpler.
but does your word processor not have the ability to change the text background to the same color as the text?
I guess you could. This is more fun. Shut up. I don't know why. It's here twice. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, wait,
what do you
I guess
got,
this
Ken?
one doesn't give colors to spaces, so only the words themselves
Yeah,
are redacted.
so it's kind of better than lorem ipsum in some ways for filler text, so you could use it for that too.
Cool.
It just looks nice and full, and there's various formats of it, so check it out. Redacted font, you can find it on GitHub. What do you got,
Cannon?
Cannon?
New theme.
I was actually trying out one of Danny Stevens' articles.
Oh, cool.
It was on GUI Miner. I need to include a link to that. But I know for a little while James was trying to mine Bitcoin. Is that right, James?
Oh, I could never get it working.
You were
Really?
trying to buy Bitcoin.
I was trying to buy them. I did originally try this GUI miner thing, like I think it was a couple of years ago actually, when Bitcoin first came out, but I could never get it.
You'd have been rich.
Well, all GUI Miner does is it automates the scripting process.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, not the scripting process, the command line process to run other mining software, so you don't have to use all those crazy flags. But using the flags itself is kind of it's kind of easy if you have the right GPU. But so what GUI Miner does is it makes it super simple, and I went from using this software, I went from having no idea what I was doing to just automatically getting money in my account. But I know
Wait,
James.
no, are you saying you actually got bitcoins?
Okay, see that's the thing.
How many bitcoins did you end up with?
Bullshit, you didn't.
Yeah. Okay. So you were right, James. You like anything that uses SHA-256 as the okay, I'm using too many big words.
That's good.
Anything.
Go ahead. You're in it now.
Anything that's based on the whatever Bitcoin's based on.
Yeah.
You need an ASIC to mine it nowadays to mine profitably, but there's alternative currencies, Litecoin and Feathercoin, that are script based, so they don't have ASIC miners out for them yet. So you can still
can GUI Miner mine for those as well?
Well, see, GUI Miner it can do it pretty much anything. The only thing
is there any reason people should consider mining like Litecoin at this point?
Well, if you expect well, okay, one, if you have an efficient GPU miner, you can easily do that. But
will it ever be worth anything?
See, that's the question. If you expect the value of the coin to rise, then oh yeah, you should definitely get in. But if you don't, then probably
Look,
not.
what we want to know is, can we get free money? Is that what you're offering?
That's really the bottom line here.
That's what we want to bloody know.
Can I be rich without having to work? Come on.
So if you have a high hash rate plus a low wattage system, then yes, right now you can go out and make money. And if you just Google Featherminer tutorial, and
you can make
probably
hypothetical money. Okay.
Well, they have calculators online that'll let you determine whether or not you can actually make money.
Cool. So Cannon's been working on alternative currencies for a while now. You'll see those coming up at makeuseof.com in the weeks to come. Kashi has an article about my blockchain is too fat. It was very technical. I didn't understand a word of it, but we'll throw that in the description. Yeah, he's a pretty smart guy, actually, when it comes to Bitcoin.
Kashi, he's not smart.
He's a pretty smart guy, dude. Pretty smart guy. Yep. One more thing that I guess you added here, Cannon, a lost interview with Steve Jobs from 1995.
No, I added that.
Oh, you did that? Oh, I should have known.
Yeah, it's time for our little section that we call Apple Fanboy Service.
Okay.
Jackson, the esteemed hardware and giveaways editor for Make Use Of, and possibly the ultimate Apple fanboy. I think he has like 5 iPads in the house, right?
He needs one in every room in case he needs to check his email.
Well, who doesn't? He pointed me in the direction of this great interview on YouTube, the full documentary there. It's with Steve Jobs at the time he was working with Next, so shortly before Apple bought them, and then the Next OS became OS X.
Yes.
And it's pretty fascinating insight into the man in the early days, and some choice quotes I pulled. What does it mean when you tell someone that their work is shit? Well, generally, it means their work is shit. And then he goes on to talk about how
this man truly was a genius. I can see why he's so renowned.
It makes him sad, not that Microsoft has kind of won the OS battle, but that their software isn't particularly good or innovative, and that people won't be able to use nice things. Which, yeah, still rings true today. 15,
well, no,
20
are
years
you
old.
kidding me? They have revolutionized the non-multitasking operating system, and they're bringing it to the masses. I mean, I don't know why people dislike Windows 8 so much. I think it's fantastic.
So yeah, we'll post a link. Go watch it. It's about an hour long. It's pretty good though.
Yeah, sweet. So you'll find the link up. We'll have it embedded in the announcement post here. Let's move on to Make Use of Articles of Note, the part of the show where I read every article on makeuseof.com and find a few that I think are pretty good. My top story this week is from Joshua Lockhart. He wrote a story on the importance of following up on email, and he does it using personal experience. He's a videographer. He did basically a volunteer gig for a big company, and they didn't send him the footage he wanted. And because he didn't follow up on email, he ended up making a huge fool of himself. It is gut-wrenching to me. I did not enjoy reading it, but you should read it.
Wait, I thought
to
the
learn
point was that
this
because
lesson.
they didn't follow up on the emails,
Yeah.
he ended up making a fool of himself.
Well, he could have followed up more too, is what I took from it. I mean, he can't control what they do, so there you go.
I
He
thought
did come across as a bit of a dick during most of the article where he went to speak to them, which is kind of
Yes.
what he said.
He
was
portrays himself as a dick there. He realizes that
Yeah.
he made a mistake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, check it out. We all could learn a thing or two from this. People are people. Got to treat people as people. It's so easy with email to abstract it, especially when you've got 50 you need to clear out quickly. But you do have to remember that there are people behind it. Chris Hoffman wrote an article about how most Android malware comes from cracked apps and games that you can get online. So if you want to avoid malware on Android, it's pretty simple. Don't download cracked apps and games. I think it's a point not a lot of people get when they say Android's so
obvious, isn't it?
insecure. Well, only if you download crap you shouldn't be downloading in the first place. It is obvious, James. You're right. I mean,
It is obvious.
in order for these cracked apps to get installed, you have to give it approval
Install
so
them?
many times.
Like, where do you think it comes from?
Yeah.
They don't just
I mean,
magic onto your phone. This isn't
Well, a lot of people
Windows
were
XP
saying-
we're
a
talking
lot of-
about here.
It's been implied that it was coming from Google Play, and that's just not the case.
Oh yeah,
Very-
no, that's not true.
It's all coming from these unofficial sources. So
Well, no, that is true. There are some
Just-
that have been on Google Play, but they usually
there have
get
been
down.
some, but
Yeah.
the vast majority aren't.
Right.
And
Keyword
Android's
most,
pretty
yeah.
secure if you stick to what's been approved by official parties.
Huh,
Didn't
look at that.
Didn't Dave wrote about I think last week an exploit that was in 99% of Android handsets.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's still there, I think.
Like all the exploits, you have to download an app that is going to.
Take advantage.
I didn't think you did you?
Yeah, I did.
Fair enough. Speaking of easy ways to get a virus within 5 minutes of connecting to the internet,
Nice. you can download Windows XP for free legally from Microsoft itself. Not a lot of people know this. Ryan Dubé, is that how you say that?
Dube?
Oh, it's from Maine. Dube.
I always thought it was
Dubé?
doobie, like you're smoking a doobie.
No, I'm pretty sure that's not
no,
it.
I'm pretty sure it's
I'm
not.
pretty
Dubé.
sure it's like a French Canadian in origin.
It's too bad.
Anyways, he wrote an article about how to download Windows XP for free legally, and he gives you step-by-step instructions for setting said Windows XP setup up in VirtualBox, which is a free virtualization software. So pretty cool if you want it. I've been using the same Windows XP CD I've had for 10 years for this when necessary, but
Does this
it's nice to know you can get it from Windows directly. They offer it so
only
people
work
can
for a
test.
virtual machine?
What?
Is this only for a virtual machine? You can't just download an ISO and install it.
Where are you going to get a computer that can still run XP? I guess if you had like a.
What do you mean
10
every computer can run XP? What do you mean?
Well, most of the drivers aren't going to work on it anymore. There are plenty of
Oh,
computers
well-
that can't run 7 because the drivers are only available for 8.
No, I don't think that's true. I think no.
No, it's true this time. No, there were reports right after Windows 8 came out that some computers you could not downgrade them even if you wanted to, because there just wasn't drivers available for it.
Oh, I
That
guess so.
sucks for those people.
No, I've had this with working with computers is bad for you. Here's how to stay healthy. It's a great list of things I do that I shouldn't, provided by Tina. So you should check that out if you are starting to feel back pain or if you are not as healthy as you think you should be while working at your desk. Just do stuff during the day. Good reminder. Really enjoyed it.
Finger
Great
stretch.
article. Yeah, do that
Ooh,
right
neck
now.
tilts.
I-
Shoulder shrugs.
Sorry about any audio problems I've had this week. I could run an Ethernet cable to my office, but it's about
You really should.
200. It's about 200 feet. I don't know if that's realistic.
I'm
And
using
I don't-
Wi-Fi, and I'm not having no
I don't know if
internet
Wi-Fi
issues.
is the limiting factor here. I think my internet might just be
Feet
crap this
in
week.
meters. 60 meters. Jesus, America really is huge.
What?
He
I
just
swear a 10
calculated
meter
feet.
Ethernet cable will go all around my house and back again.
I might have been exaggerating slightly. I
Right,
don't have a
okay.
good sense of scale. It's an apartment. I just it's not happening. I'm not running an Ethernet cable to this room.
Man up.
Yep. Man up. I could start doing the show in the living room. I don't have a desk.
You
be
could
fun.
start doing the show.
Then I could be like
just
Dave
come to
and
my
just-
house.
Just come to your house, yeah.
Thing is,
Next time I'm on the East Coast,
so
we'll
when
do
his
that.
audio cuts out while he's speaking, we don't notice because he's not speaking.
Well, that's true. I talk straight through the show, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. Thanks, everyone, for
Talk
hanging
straight.
out in the chat room. We really appreciated you there. We're going to have a special guest who's not canon next week, so don't bother coming around. There's no point whatsoever. If you like the show, please take the time to subscribe to us on iTunes, to leave a rating for us on iTunes. It helps a lot. And to leave a comment at makeuseof.com saying how much you appreciate everything we do. That would mean the world
The show
to us.
was lacking a spam bot today. There
It
no
was lacking a
bot.
spam bot in the comments. I think that's 'cause
I'm
Canon
sorry.
is usually
Yeah,
doing- yeah.
No, I mean normally when I try to sell you guys Viagra, I don't want to do it with
You didn't
my
want
face.
to do it on air. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I do want to give a chance here to sell everyone on Bitdefender. Apparently, I cut out reading this ad at the beginning of the show, so I'm going to read it again real quick. QuickScan is Bitdefender's latest product. It scans your Windows computer in 60 seconds or less. It's cloud-based, so there's nothing to install, and its virus definition is always up to date. It works with Microsoft Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, and Google Chrome. It basically allows you to perform a cloud-based virus scan on any computer in just 1 minute instead of having to wait 4 hours. To run a scan right now, go to quickscan.bitdefender.com.
Did you try this? Didn't find anything on my machine.
Yeah.
My machine is not Windows-based, so...
My machine is
yeah.
clean as a whistle.
Well, there you
What
go.
up?
I'll try it on mine, and we can talk about it next week.
You have a PC?
My media center's a PC, yeah.
Oh.
And I
So-
never really scan it, so
So Bitdefender is just it's antivirus software. That's it.
yeah.
Do you know if they have a mobile version where you can scan your Android handset?
Yep.
I believe
Bitdefender
they do.
Mobile.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, they do.
That
Oh,
makes sense. There you go.
They
Check
have a
it
Mac
out.
version too, but the Mac not of the quick scan. They have a Mac version of their full antivirus software.
oh.
There you go.
No, I've been looking for a really good. Do you know if it installs? Does it scan through USB? So can you?
Fool,
can
I
you
don't know
scan-
nothing about Android. Get out of my face. I have an iPhone. We don't need antiviruses on.
You know how this thing says it's cloud-based, so there's nothing to install? When I tried it installed a plugin.
It doesn't.
Well-
yeah, it installs a Chrome plugin.
I have an idea.
Oh,
Let's
so when it
criticize
says
our
there's nothing
sponsors.
to install, it actually does.
There's a little bit to install. I got it.
Yeah,
There's
but it's
no
not a full
software to
antivirus
install. You don't
program
need-
that's
yeah.
eating all of your RAMs.
No, that's really good because if you have a compromised handset, then it's kind of unwise to scan from an app inside the phone. But if you scan through a cloud app, you don't have to worry about those potential issues.
You should probably just get an iPhone, and then you don't have to worry at all. You know.
Yeah, but then I'd be broke, so I can't.
You would have other financial worries.
I would have other
You'd
financial.
have a
Everyone-
good phone though.
Thanks so much for listening. That's the show for the week. Again, if you want to talk to us, join us at the Technophilia on Twitter. I am making a habit to retweet stuff people say there so we can have a conversation amongst ourselves. It's going to be fun when more of you join in. This week, notably, Dave P., you've been asked to guest host by most of our fan base, by which I mean Kashi. So you should you should show up here, or I'm going to keep thinking of new ways to pronounce Peric.
I thought it was pronounced like Klingon, like
Parak.
yeah,
Parak.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that. Yeah, I think you've got it right that time. Yeah.
I thought it was pronounced poopy pants.
Hey, no?
Pants.
Maybe.
Hey, this article by Koshi is actually pretty interesting. It's exactly
It is.
what I said last week, right?
Mhm.
The thing where if you're mining Bitcoin, you're basically trying to hold the whole history of Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
And in his article, he says it's now more than 8 gigabytes in size. Who the hell wants a Bitcoin client that's 8 gigabytes big?
Someone who's trying to mine bitcoins.
So then you end up
Yes,
going with like
exactly.
light clients, which don't store the whole blockchain, and then
Yeah.
eventually the whole thing just collapses.
The
Switch
end.
over to Litecoin or Feathercoin.
Well, Kenan, or you guys in the chat room, we need a name for this episode.
I'd call it free money.
Free money. Should I have Scrooge McDuck?
Oh God.
Everyone loves
I
some
think
free
we should
money.
call it Canon Gets an iPhone.
How about
Canon,
Canon?
no.
Canon rambles incessantly. Let's name it that.
We could call every episode Rambles Incessantly. I don't think that works. I've got Scrooge.
No, I think free money for the sake of SEO.
That's a good idea. It is a good idea.
It'll be our most popular episode ever.
You dirty
How to free
SEO
money.
scumlord.
So, how do you like the art so far?
Yeah, you're gonna have to zoom in.
There's the
there
average
we
British citizen in my head.
Awesome.
Yeah. That show was awesome.
It was all because of Canon.
No, DuckTales.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Dave.
I was talking about DuckTales.
I know, I was talking about DuckTales too. Scrooge
No,
McCann,
Justin, you got to make it
know?
how-to free money.
How to free money?
How to, because above putting how-to in the title, we know it makes it.
Makes
A
it
more
better.
popular article,
That makes
yeah.
it better, yeah.
Well, let's Google Trends that.
How to free money.
Let's look this bitch up.
Let's do this.
No, I'm serious. How to free
How
Using
to
a
free
different
money.
font.
Slightly different font. It was provided to us by a listener last week. And it
How
does
to
not
use
have-
Bitcoin to make free money.
I don't
Oh,
know,
that's
it's a
way
bit
too long.
blocky.
Yeah, but think of the SEO possibilities, guys. We could be freaking rich.
So how to free money does strictly worse than free money. Of course, when you do how to free money, you also get free money for free.
What?
Oh, I love free money for free. That's my favorite kind of free money.
What's your favorite kind of free money, Cannon?
The sort of money you get when you webcam and elderly
Ew.
gentlemen throw coin at you. You guys have never done that? Okay.
No one's done that. No one.
Cannon's done it.
Episode 71 of Technophilia. Yeah, we're going to go with 71. There you go. I think that's a masterpiece. I think that is the most beautiful thing I've ever created.
Ever in your life?
Probably. I've had a very sad, sad life.
It's true, you have.
Dog the Tech Hunter, James's Naughties, Free Money, free as in speech. I don't know. I think I'm going to go with the SEO concerns on this one. How to free money. I mean, unless someone can really wow me with something better.
Currently,
I wanna
how
know who
free money?
MUO Overlord is.
Yeah, I do too. Is it Jackson? No, it's not Jackson.
No,
No, Jackson
Jackson
went-
went to bed.
Jackson is asleep because of...
Jackson's asleep.
Austria.
Do robots sleep? Or-
Robots do sleep, apparently.
Only this
Need to power
particular
down.
robot.
I'm joking.
We've
by
had
the way,
so
Jackson.
many great make use of email threads about Jackson. I will never forget the one where we argued about whether he was in Australia or not, and I'm just... This might predate both you and... This might predate everyone here. I'm old. At one point, like, people were arguing about where he lives, and I'm just like, picture of Jackson with a kangaroo. I win.
I thought he was Australian, and
He
He's
is
not Australian,
Malaysian.
but he lives in Australia.
He is Malaysian.
Oh, okay. I was actually
he-
just talking with
he-
Jess about this the other day. I was like, I don't know. I know Jackson is Asian, but I don't know of what country he Asian.
He is from Malaysia, and
he would. Wait, he would-
he studied medicine in Russia, and now he lives in Australia.
Wow.
He's a doctor. I don't know why he does anything make use
Yeah.
of.
What, does he actively doctor anymore though, or does he just?
I don't know. I'm not clear on this. We'll have to have him on the show and figure out what.
I asked him when he's going to be on the show, and he says when we go through every other member of the staff.
Well, most of them have flat out refused to do the show.
I also asked
Unbelievable.
if we can
Yeah.
pick and choose who we want, like if we can reject people we don't want. He
You
didn't answer.
guys,
We are still live, Dave.
I know,
Okay.
but that
You
doesn't
guys-
mean that I can't say that I might want to reject people.
I am. What about Dave P? Would you reject him?
I would approve Dave P, and then
Okay.
I would steal his soul.
Now you tried
Can
rejecting
we end the
me,
broadcast already?
and it didn't work. Yeah, we should end the broadcast. Here's the art, guys. Thanks so
I
much.
tried to
for-
reject Canon, but you guys wouldn't let me.
Mr.